It's coming live. Hang in there. It's happening. So you check this live too. You guys are so serious.
We're waiting. I want to get down to some questions.
There you go. So I think it's my in YouTube's live now, but in the Zoom connection it's not yet. So hold on a second. Setting up your meeting for YouTube live. No, yeah, we're good. We're there. All right. So everybody, this is the Northfield Festival, Sweden, and we are online. We do this festival online. We have our festival siblings in New York, also in Barcelona, obviously. So we're happy to have a three amazing actors join us today for this Zoom. So we have Michelle from Canada, home free. How are you, Michelle?
Hi, I'm excellent. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're happy to have you. We have Malte from Germany. Good night, killer.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me too.
Thanks, man, for being here. And we have Otar from the Bureau from Georgia.
Hello, everyone.
So, guys, first of all, my first question is, how do you get involved in film? You are Humphrey and the Goodnight Killer and the Bureau. How do you, Michelle? We start with you. How do you get involved to Humphrey?
To home free or into like film in general?
No, into the film in Humphrey.
Into the film. We did a Zoom read just like this actually during COVID. So it was 2020, and Avi, our director, who had produced, I had worked with many times before as a producer, and he really wanted to direct, and so he got us all together and we read this film over Zoom, and there wasn't a dry eye on the Zoom thing when we finished. I think we were all pretty desperate for connection at the end of that, and so we just tried to figure out a way to get it done. And Avi's he's pretty persistent. And so I happen to live out in the country, and so I volunteered our house. And so we actually shot the film in my house. And so my husband all lived in a corner of the house while we shot here for 3.5 weeks. Wow. So it was a real labor of love. I mean, everybody kind of came together because we believed in the film and the story, and that was that. Yeah.
Nice. That is so awesome.
Cool. That's a nice house, huh, Michelle? Well done.
Oh, thanks. It looks different than it does in the movie. I mean, they kind of made it look a little bit more to the generation of urban Audrey. So that was also kind of weird for my kids because they'd be like, that doesn't look like my room. But it would take your kids to work day in a whole new way.
That's so funny.
Nice. Malte, so let's go with Malte. You're related to the director, right?
Yes, the director is my brother. So
brother, yes, that's what I was.
Okay,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was easy for me to get involved in it because I wrote it, and I'm acting in first place, but I'm also interested in writing. And because my brother is director, I already had someone who can direct this thing because I'm not good at it. I tried directing once for a short movie and it failed completely. It wasn't what I wanted to be. So that's the part that my brother can do better. And yeah, we're a good team. So it was very nice to shoot this thing.
Nice. That's cool.
In Otar, the translator. How do you Otar, how do you make Georgia in the Bureau?
المفروض فيهم الشيخ.
მარკო გიორგი ხო? გიორგი ჩემი უმცროსი მეგობარია. და წლებია ვიცნობ და ძალიან დაინტერესდი მაგ ბიჭით, იმიტომ რომ ძალიან ნიჭიერია, ძალიან ნიჭიერი მონდომებული, აი კინოშნიკია, ნაღდი კინოშნიკია და არც მიმიწვია რა მთხოვა რომ ითამაშეო და რა თქმა უნდა დავთანხმდი პირიქით ჩემთვის რა ძალიან ბევრ ფილმში ვარ თამაშები ძალიან ბევრში მაგრამ აი ისეთი კომფორტი გიორგისთან რომ ვიგზენი არც ერთ ფილმში არ მიგზნია.
So, Otter knows Georgi, George, director, like since George's youth, and they know each other very good. And George asked him to play in his movie, and Otter already played in a lot of films, but he said that working with Georgi, it was really good experience, and he was really amazed with that experience. So they knew each other, and that's how he involved in that movie.
Nice, nice, yes. Otar is a bad guy in the movie.
Otar ცუდი კაცია ფილმშია.
და ცხოვრებაში რო არა ვარ ცუდი.
Yes, but he's not in life. He's good guy in life. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
სხვათა შორის აი ყველა ფილმში სადაც თამაშობ, ყველგან ცუდკად თამაშობდა. იცი როგორ მწყინს ეს.
And also in the movies, all the movies where he played, he's bad guy in every movie, and he feels sad about it.
Well, yeah, look
No,
at you,
that's
man.
good. That's good.
Don't you
That's
look?
what an actor is. You're a good actor.
კარგი მსახიობი ხართ.
Thank you.
So, let's. I start again with Michelle. Michelle, just tell us a little bit what's your process for preparing. Any character. Let's go a little bit in general because it does depends of the type of character you're playing, right? That's a different preparation. But is anything standard that you use that you can share with us?
I mean, again, yes, you're right. Everything is a little bit different. I mean, this movie in particular was a real gift because we all got to be kind of a part of the process. So I think I had a little bit of an advantage because we were shooting in our house. So I was able to kind of create an emotional memory while we were shooting because things were very familiar to me. But it was also a difficult thing because we were shooting in my house. So those two things kind of worked against each other. But I would say that a lot of the preparation that I normally would have done, because this was such a collaborative piece, like we worked with Reese, the writer, and with Avi, the director, and everybody really had a lot of input into developing all of those characters. So it made the whole process a lot easier. So by the time we actually showed up to shoot, we felt that we had lived these women a lot. And then for anybody who hasn't seen the film, it's about three sisters. And so the three of us got together a lot, and we actually had a little sleepover here in the house. I kicked my family out for the night, and we kind of just had a little bit of method actor night in here, and we drank wine and had charcuterie and just talked, and so it was familiar for all of us, and so that gave us a bit of a shorthand when it came to shooting.
Because you playing Rain, right? In the film, you are like the strongest. So how to be in your house, and how was affecting you, or it was giving you more strength that you were everything happening in your house? Was anything related to that or not really?
I think so, a little bit. I mean, I think that for Rain, I'm actually the youngest of three sisters in real life. So for me to play the oldest of three sisters was interesting. And a real, like, I learned a lot. I watched my other sisters, and I had lost both of my parents recently. So I was able to draw on a bit of that experience too, of what that was and kind of how we all fit into our childhood roles as we came together to, say goodbye to our parents. And so I think there was, because it was a very, indie film and we were shooting on a really small budget, there was a lot of things where everybody sort of had to, pitch in. And I think
Mhm.
I was carrying a lot because it was my house. Like some mornings I'd make everybody banana bread, or, we would do whatever. I was kind of like locations too at the same time, and carrying, trying to inhabit the character. So I think that there were some moments where I felt a little bit overwhelmed, much the same as Rain did. So I was able to kind of use that, and I was feeling it
Right.
and was conscious of it at the time, to be like, okay, I'm just going to use this in the character. And then it was interesting to me because as the film progresses, everybody who starts out strong, like I started out really strong, but I kind of wasn't at the end. And then
Mhm.
Daisy, who
Right.
started out sort of as the most vulnerable character, was the one who actually had the strength
Mhm.
at the end. So it was interesting. I think art imitated life a little bit for sure as we were shooting.
Yeah. It's a great film. It's
I
very
know. I
impressive.
was crying. Oh my
Yeah, you
God.
guys have
Especially at
you
the
guys
end.
have to watch Home Free, as you guys gonna watch also a Good Night Killer for sure, and also the Burrow. But yeah, it's a dark drama. It was shocking for me to watch the film. But well done, Michelle. Beautiful work. Anyways, what about Malte with Mickey? How was
Oh, yes.
that experience? What's your how do you prepare the character of Mickey? Do you have any
Yeah,
tips?
it was very interesting to prepare for the role because it was almost like playing two different characters because there's the Mickey before the tragic event happens, and there's some flashbacks where we see how he was before, and then there's the Mickey after the tragic event happens in the beginning of the film. And yes, he's a broken man, and I'm in personal life, I like to laugh and have fun all the time.
Yeah,
So it
you're a
was
bad guy.
very difficult. Yes. So all that I did was like make myself very negative thoughts till I was like very kind of depressing or depressed. So my girlfriend also told me that I'm back to myself now
Oh, good,
because I
good.
was very different at that time. And yeah, but it was cool. It was challenging. That's because I wanted to do this movie and want to have a character, something challenging to play.
Nice. Interesting how you did that.
What about Otar? How he prepared this character, this bad guy of who wants to get rid of the
Sudikatsis'in rolü tanımışım.
look at yeah.
არა ვარ ცუდი კაცი და
So cute.
შეთხოვ როგორც გითხარით, შეჩვეული ვარ ამ ცუდი კაცების თამაშს. ეს არ არის პირველი როლი ცუდი კაცი, ცუდ კაცებს თამაშობ და აქედან გამომდინარე გამიადვილდა, იმიტომ რომ იმდენი ცუდი კაცი მაქვს ნათამაშები, რომ ჩემთვის უკვე ეს მე მეშინია რომ ცხოვრებაში ცუდი არ გავხდე. ხო და დანარჩენი მე უბრალოდ ძალიან დიდი დამსახურებაა გიორგის რეჟისორის და კიდევ ერთხელ მინდა ვთქვა, რომ გათვითფრებული ვარ გიორგის აი ამ ახალგაზრდა კაცი რამხელა პროფესიონალიზმი არის. აი მე ისეთი შტაბ-ეშტილება დამჭა, როდესაც გადაღებებზე გიორგისთან ვმუშაობდი, რომ მე ვმუშაობდი უკვე გამოცდილ 8-წმოსილ რეჟისორთან, დიდ რეჟისორთან, რომელსაც აბიცი 10 და 20 ფილმი აქვს გადაღებული. აი ესეთი შტაბ-ეშტილება დამჭა და იმდენად პროფესიონალურად და იმდენად ისე აი მე ეხლა ხო ვთქვი, წერან ვთქვი, რომ კომფორტი მქონდა მეთქი, ისე კარგად გაძლევს ამოცანა, ისე კარგად, რომ ფაქტიურად ის რაც მე გავაკეთე ამ ფილმში, ის გმირი შევქმენი, ეს მარკოზაშვილის, ეს გიორგის დამსახურება და გიორგის გაკეთებულია. ფიცა ვარ.
So as he told you, he always plays a bad guy. So it was not first time he played bad guy. So it was really easy for him to play a bad guy because he's always playing bad guys in the movies. And he is really amazed with director George's work because when they were filming, he thought that George was not a like new director and it was not his first film because George gave actors like correct ways to play, and he says that in that movie it's all about George, director, because he is really good and still he's really amazed with his work because Otar thought that George already directed like 20 or 30 movies because yeah, it's he saw George like this, that he's already very experienced director, and because of this it was really easy for him to work with George and with the other actors also.
ის თქვი რომ დამუღამებული მას უკვე უცხოეს ცუდი კაცების
He is. So he's professional to play bad guys, yeah.
I'm gonna ask you, all of you, this question. I think a lot of actors hate it, but I'm just gonna ask because it's do you have any method of acting, all those methods in the past that you use, and if you use it, yes, can you explain us why, and if you don't, why don't you use that method? You got my question, right, Michelle? We don't hear you. You mute. No problem.
Sorry, I put it on mute. My dog was barking. I think so. I don't have any method in particular. I mean, I do the basic work, like, the emotional memory. Who am I? Where am I going? What do I want? Like in the scenes, break down the scenes, like your sort of basic technique. But I think every character kind of calls for something different. There's some characters that I just get, like on a base level. I kind of go, I understand this person, and then I just I need to kind of just show up and be present and have done all of that previous work figuring out what those relationships are and stuff, and then just show up and kind of play. I like to be surprised by the people that I'm working with. I come with usually a few directions of where the scene can go. But to me, the fun is if a director says, okay, well, have you thought about this? Or if my scene partner gives me something that I hadn't thought of, like that I think is what's so magical about film in particular, and television too. But like this medium is that if somebody throws something at you different, the camera can catch it, and it's legitimate, and it's real. Like I just like that. I like playing. So whatever method I'm sort of using, I always leave a lot of room for play and surprise. I always figure out what my secrets are. Like I think it's important that every character has a secret.
Oh, nice.
And I think
Nice.
that's always been something that I've sort of have carried through. I don't remember who even, but I always kind of go, what is the thing that this character wants people to know about her? And what is the thing that she would never want anybody to know about her? And that's a bit of a jumping off point, whatever that is. Doesn't matter if I'm playing a lawyer or whatever.
That's interesting, huh? To have what's the secret, right? That she's keeping. That's cool, actually. What about
it affects
Malte?
do things, right?
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead. What do
I
you
was
say?
just going to say it kind of affects everything, because often how we want to be viewed by people versus how people actually view us is very different. So it doesn't matter what time periods you're playing, or what character, or what class, or what, whatever. That always sort of creates some underlying stuff going on. And so I find that fun. To me, that's the fun part of it.
So true, right? So true. That's so true, yeah. Malte, what about you? Do you any method, all these Meisner, Stella Adler, Stanley Blaski, and name all those. Do you relate it to any of them? If you are, let us know why, and if you don't, also let us know why you don't use it.
Yes, I wouldn't say that I have a specific method. It's the same like Michelle said, it's very different every time. And the best thing you could do was the secret thing because so you make your character more complex and yeah, you have something nobody knows about you. The only thing I did this time was like because I had a very much or many physical scenes. So before each take, I was moving a lot when I had to like maybe have to torture someone or when we have an action scene. So there's already an energy there when the director says like action or go. And it's not like, so I don't start stiff in the performance. So I'm already with energy in me, and that's the only thing I did this time, like almost like Matthew McConaughey, he did this thing in Wolf of Wall Street, and that was also his method before each take, and that they took this in the movie, and that's what this is what I was thinking about when we made this. So have some little thing you do before each take, which helps you. That's the only thing I do, but I'm not. I don't have like a specific method into like, okay, I have to do this and that. It comes just with the feeling and how complex the character is. Because like if the character is very one-dimensional or it's just like maybe something slapstick or something, I don't have to get that deep into the character. So, but this time, yes, like I said, I already did was the make myself a bit depressed, but it's not a real method, I think.
But it worked, no?
What about Badri, Mr. Badri, Otar?
როგორ ემზადებით, რა მეთოდი თუ გაქვთ?
მაქვს ჩემი მეთოდი. ძალიან განსხვავებულად, აი ძალიან განსხვავებულად, ყველასგან ალბათ არ ვიცი. მე არ მიყვარს წინასწარ მომზადება. აი რო აი მუშაობენ, აი თეატრალურად რომ მუშაობენ რეპეტიციები და რა თქმა უნდა, მე მიყვარს თვითონ მოედანზე მივდივარ და რასაც რეჟისორი ამოცანას მაძლევს, იმპროვიზაციით ვაკეთებ ყველაფერს. იქვე ცოცხალი გაკეთებული, იმიტომ რომ როცა ბევრს მუშაობ, ჩემ მასს ვამბობ მე, როცა ბევრს მუშაობ, იშტამპები. მიხდი, უკვე შტამპი ხარ. აღარა ხარ ცოცხალი, მკვდარი ხარ, იქ უკვე აი შტამპს თამაშობ და როცა მიდიხარ და იქვე რო არიცი რა ამოცანას გაძლევს და რეჟისორი უცებ ამოცანას რომ მოგცევს, იქვე გაიაზრებ იმპროვიზაციით უკეთესი რაღაც იბადება. ეთესად უფრო ცოცხალია, უფრო მაგარია.
So I think Otter's method is like different because he didn't do any preparations before the set, and he likes improvisation, and he likes that on the scene when directors give him some tips how to do some scene or what to do, he likes to improvise during the set, and he thinks that you are more alive when you do like this, and that's how he works actually, because as he said, when you prepare like before 2 months or 3 months, you are not that kind of alive on the set. That's his opinion, and that's how he did his character for that movie.
ანუ მე მინდა რომ როდესაც გადაღებაზე მივდივარ, მე ჩემ თავს როგორც მსახიობს რეჟისორს ვთავაზობ მასალას, გამოუყენებელ მასალას, ანუ დაუმუშავებას, რომ მე ვაძლევ საშუალებას იმან შექმნა, იმან გამოდეთო ჩემგან.
So every time he gave the directors opportunity to told him everything, what to do, how to do this scene, and he will do everything how director decides. So that's his method. If I think it doesn't has any name, but that's author method. Yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
იცი რა, ბოდიში რა უთხარი რა ხო.
he wants to add something. Yeah.
მე თავიდან, როცა ახალგაზრდა ვიყავი, ხო? ჯერ კიდევ გამოუცდელი ვიყავი. მე ვაკეთებდი იმ სტანდარტულად, ჩვეულებრივად ვკითხულობდი სცენარს, მუშაობდი, ღამეები მუშაობდი, ბევრს მუშაობდი, როლზე დღე და ღამე მუშაობდა. უკვე გადაღებაზე მივდიოდი, უკვე მე გაკეთებული მქონდა როლი. მაგრამ მე რომ ხედავდი უკვე ნამუშევარს ფილმზე, ვატყობდი რომ ყალბია და მე დავიწყე აი ესე ჯობია იმპროვიზაციით და ცოტა, იმიტომ რომ იქვე უფრო მოდის კარგად.
So when he was young, before he used to do preparations like before 3 months or 2 months, reading script and going set to know everything. But after years, when he saw that movies, he did not like it actually. And yeah, still he thinks that when you have some improvisation during the movies, it's better.
Nice. Let me ask you like 3 questions.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yes, go ahead.
Who inspired you guys to become an actor, actress?
Good question. Nice. Michelle, ladies first.
I kind of fell into it a little bit, I think. I used to be a dancer. So I trained as a dancer when I was a young girl. And but it was always the storytelling in the dance that I sort of loved. But I'm quite tall, and so if you're not in a ballet company at a certain age, there's not a whole lot to go. And so I always sort of felt like a little bit of a square peg in a round hole as a dancer. I was a good dancer, but I could never quite find my spot. And then I sort of I was working in some summer stock, and I fell into acting. And I had it as a dancer at theater school. I had some acting and voice and that kind of stuff. But then all of a sudden I sort of had a chance, and I went, oh my God, I love this. Like the things that made me, where as a dancer I needed to be the same as everybody else. The things that actually made me different were the things that were interesting. So I was like, I love this. And so I just took as many classes as I could. And then I was fortunate enough to have some good luck early on in my career and was able to build on that. And here I am.
Nice. That's awesome. Thank you for answering the question.
Malte.
Yeah, for me, it was clear very early on. It's the only thing I can do, I would say. Yeah, we grew up with movies. All we did, my brother and I, was like watching movies all the time, and we still do it. Like, when we see it, we just have a weekend where we watch like 10 movies or something. And he was always the guy with the camera in his hands from our grandpa, and I was in front of the camera and doing silly stuff. And then it became more and more serious as we grew older.
Got older. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
My brother. That's funny.
So
It's cute.
we will do it forever, I think.
Nice. Thank you.
So Tare, why inspiring him to become an actor?
ძალიან კაი შეკითხვა.
Bless you.
Very good question.
მე ბავშვობიდან, პატარაობიდან ოცნებობდი მსახიობობაზე. ჩემი თეატრი მქონდა ბავშვობაში, ვარტისტობდი და მინდოდა მსახიობობა ძალიან, მაგრამ როდესაც თეატრალურ ინსტიტუტში ჩავაბარე სამსახიობოზე, კომისიამ დამიწუნა მეტყველების პრობლემა და მითხრეს, რომ შენ გამსახიობიო, არ გამოვა მსახიობი, იმიტომ რომ მეტყველების პრობლემა გაქვსო და გული დამსდა. კინაღამ თავი მოვიკარე. ხო და გადავწყვიტე, რომ იმდენად მიყვარს კინო განსაკუთრებით, გადავწყვიტე რეჟისორი მაინც გავხდები მეთქი და გავხდი კინო რეჟისორი. დავამთავრე კინოს სარეჟისორო, მაგრამ სადიპლომო და საკურსო ფილმის მეტი მე ფილმი არ გადამიღია და მაინც მეძახდნენ გადაღებებზე, მეძახიან გადაღებებზე და მაინც გავხდი მსახიობი.
So it was always his dream to become an actor since when he was like 6, 7. And finally he went to university to study acting, but commission did not like him because they did not like his speaking, and so they didn't like him because of this. But and in this period, Otar really feel sad, and almost he said that he was thinking about suicide and stuff. But then he started to fight for his dreams, and then he changed his study subject, and actually he finished his studies in the direction of director. So he became director, and actually he only directed 2 movies, which was for his final studying year. But after this, many directors invite him for their movies, for their scenes, and during this work, he started again to act. And after this experience, finally he became an actor. So that's how he became an actor. Yes.
Very
Beautiful.
nice. Wow. So guys, I just got 2 questions in the same question though, because we're running out of time now. So the first one is, do you guys like many takes or a few takes only? And how do you like to be directed by the directors? Quite tricky, this question. Do you like to get a
That's
lot
a
of
good one.
guiding, or you like to be free? Just those 2 questions, if you can answer to me, if you like many takes and how you like to be directed. Okay, it's quite a kind of interesting question that I like to ask most of the times, because I'm a director, so it's like a learning process for me. Michelle, you're mute again. You're mute.
Sorry.
No worries.
That's a tricky one. A lot of it, I think, depends on who I'm working with, and what the shorthand is that we have. I think sometimes it's how comfortable I am in the character, how far I'm moving away from my comfort zone makes a difference in terms of takes. Oftentimes, if it's really emotional stuff, I depending on what the scene is, sometimes you're more ready, sometimes you're not. So I think that's kind of the hardest thing is keeping those emotions accessible. And so sometimes you don't want to do it too many times. I've learned over the years that often when I'm asking for another take, I'm sort of doing it for myself, and not, because sometimes when I feel that it's a good take, it's actually not. And so to trust the director, that if the director feels that they've gotten what they need, then we're ready to move on. And I think that's something that I've come to appreciate. So usually I'm like, if you're good, I'm good, unless I feel that there's something really different that I'm trying to do, or I want to be like, okay, let me give you this option, or let's have this option too, so that you can, go different ways. Or, sometimes you're trying to calibrate a performance through it, and it's like, we haven't shot that scene yet, and I don't want to have to ever force an emotion. So sometimes you find more emotion in another scene and less in one that you're shooting later. And it's not really about where it happens in that scene. It's more about just finding it within a character. So sometimes things end up being more emotional, and then I'm like, let me give you the other side of it. So I really appreciate when you have that, when you can play like that. Not every director likes to work that way. Sometimes people are like, this is what you have to do. You got to come in and I need tears here, especially if you're doing television or you're doing a guest spot or whatever. So, so that's a big part of it. I find, one of my pet peeves as an actor is when I do want to have, these are 2 things. So this would be my advice, I guess, for younger directors, if this is helpful. I don't know, is that kind of what you're asking a little bit?
Yeah, correct.
I like it when oftentimes I find you do a take and then a director will see something and then they like it and they catch a glimmer of what you're giving. And so then they come to you and they say, okay, I'd like you to do this. I think for most actors, because we're like people pleasers at our core, we kind of go, like you think, okay, well, I did do that. Did I not do that? And then that's why you want it. So I always appreciate it when when a director can acknowledge that they've seen something and then say to you, I need you to lean into this a little bit more, or I need you to pull away from this a little bit more, so that you're really crafting that performance together, as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, I got you.
because then sometimes you're left going, oh, well, I thought I was doing that and I wasn't. And then you kind of get out of touch with your instincts, as opposed to somebody really kind of acknowledging that and working with your instincts with you. And then I guess also too, in that same vein, when you're sort of talking about a character, I don't necessarily like to talk about it too much. Sometimes I find I'll say, okay, what do you think about this? And then a director will launch into sort of the script for me. And I'm like, well, you know, we've all read the script. Like I know what's happening, but it's getting into the specifics. So I love it when a director really gets into the specifics of the character, because I will always come with the work done, right? I will have always done all that stuff that we've talked about before. So I think a good director to me is somebody who's like a maestro, who knows when they just need a little bit more from this part or a little bit more from that part. And I always, I find I bloom more under that kind of direction. But that being said, I am a gun for hire. So I will do whatever is required of me. And I always make sure that I'm ready to do, because, you know, actors are like, or directors are like actors, and everybody's different. And I think that's part of the business, is just when you have it and it works, it's fantastic. It's a perfect storm. But for the most part, you have a short period of time and you're trying to find a language immediately. But that would be my ideal situation.
Thank you,
Thank you
Michelle.
very
Very very nice.
It was a very long-winded.
Malte.
Sorry.
No, it was
No,
good.
it's good. That's what we're looking
Interesting.
for, you know. We
So,
only listen to you like, oh wow.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Malte.
The same like Michelle said, I think a good director is capable of giving you pictures in your head. So I like when not directly tells you, I wanted to have it like this or that. So more like when he's giving you some instructions in a more abstract way, I think I like it more. So it's a smoother way of directing, so he get what he wants. And this is the way like my brother did it, so I like to work with him. I had a director who was in acting school, and we had a play. And the original play, my character had a Turkish background, and I'm just German. And he gave me the instruction to play it more Turkish. And I don't know what that means. So what I have to do with this? It's not it
Right.
was so bad. And I was very angry because I didn't know what to do with this. And yeah, that's like the example for good directing or bad directing is like if it's yeah, I don't know. Like you're happy but a bit sad. I can't grip that. So if you giving me instructions like, okay, imagine you're here somewhere or something that happened to you, or how would you feel if I can do much more and work with that better, because you always work with something you have in you, and the director's job is to bring that out.
Kind of
even if
channel
you
it
don't know.
together.
Yes, totally.
Actionable
Okay.
direction is important,
Yes.
right? That's something that you can actually do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And Otar, yes, tell us.
რეჟისორი როცა გადავთმით ითელებს მასე ირჩევნიათ თუ როცა ვისწრებ როგორი მუშაობა?
Ну, პირველად ამ შეკითხვაზე მე ვპასუხე. ხო, მაგრამ ეხა ისე არ გამომივიდეს, წელა რაღაც შეიძლება ვერ ახსენი კარგად, როცა მე ვთქვი, რომ მე როცა მივდივარ გადაღებაზე, მე რეჟისორს ვაძლევ მთელ ყველაფერს მის როგორც ამოცანას მომწევს, მან მართოს. ესე არ არის, მე ესე არ მქონს. მე უბრალოდ მასალა მივდივარ, რომ იმას ქონეს საშუალება ჩემგან გამოძერწოს გმირი, მაგრამ რადგან მე იმპროვიზაცია ვახსენე, მე მასთან ერთად ვაკეთებ როლს. მარტო ის არა, ეს არნიშნავს იმას, რომ მე მარიონეტი ვარ და რასაც რეჟისორი მეტყვის იმას არა, მე მასთან ერთად ძერწავ ჩემს გმირს, ერთობლივად ვაკეთებთ ის და მე. აი ეს მინდოდა მეთქვა. რა თქმა უნდა, ხო და ეგ თქვი, სულ თავიდან ნახე რა ვთქვი, რომ გიორგისთან კომფორტი რატომ მქონდა, იცი რომ მაძლევს იმის საშუალებას, როცა ის მაძლევს ამოცანას და თუ კი ჩემთვის ეს მიუღებელია ეს მოქმედება, ის მაძლევს საშუალებას ჩემი აზრი გამოვთქვა და ერთობლივად ვაკეთებთ მე ამ გმირს.
So Otar already told you that he liked when director is giving him some tips and guide how to play and what to do. But he also said that regarding that movie with George and also other movies, he likes that he and the director create the character together, and he has opportunity that if he doesn't like something, he can go to director and tell him, let's do this another way or like this. And when he play in the movie, it's important for him that he has opportunity to do this, because he thinks that when he's preparing for the character, he can see some stuff which is interesting, and when he shares it with director, he likes that when director listen to him and give opportunity to change like this way or this way. So that's how George was working with him. That's why he liked George so much.
Nice answer, guys. Unfortunately, we have to go, but thank you so much for joining us, Michelle, Malte, Otar.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you so
You
much.
also.
That was very fun. I enjoyed meeting all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed
it
it
too.
So nice to see you again. I signed you.
And then I'll see you around, guys. We never know where we're gonna meet in Barcelona. Hey, Michelle, you gotta come to Barcelona. I told Avi, right?
From
I
your
hope
lips
so.
to God's ears.
In Malte, I know you're coming to Barcelona, and the
Yes.
other guys also coming to Barcelona. But anyways,
Also, see you guys in Barcelona. You should
See you.
Barcelona.
Bye.
so
Have a good day.
so guys, what?
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Just let me get a snapshot very quick here. So let's just for the social media later. So smile, pretty smiles. See you. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.